All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about Trello's list and card features and what you can do to utilize these and customize these to work best for you and your board. Because ultimately, the benefit and the beauty of Trello is that you can customize it and make it do whatever you want it to do, make it fit your personality, your agenda, or your workflow, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So we already talked about in the very first video what the lists are. If you click up top, for the lists that are already populated, if you're going to get a copy of the one that I'm going to include in the description, where you will make a copy and then want to come in and modify this or tweak this, you just simply come up here. Well, let's say you want to create a list for your reservations, right? So this way, whenever you go somewhere and you receive a reservation confirmation, you might want to add it here. You might also want to have a list for your documents, and this could be like your passport, any other important documents that you feel you might need to have, medical insurance, copies of your driver's license, things like that. And as you notice, as we continue to create lists, it starts to scroll to the right. And all you have to do is go down here to the bottom, scroll back to the left. Now, I will say this, I try to keep my boards, or keep my list to a minimum, because what you don't want to do is scroll right forever and ever. What I would suggest is if it gets to a point where you start having 10 and 12 lists, maybe you need to create a separate board, right? So then you might have a board that's strictly for documents, or a board that's strictly for restaurants, or a board that's strictly for, excursions and things to do. So, and again, this is just my suggestion. You're welcome to do whatever you want to do, because again, with Trello, you can customize and do whatever it is that you want. So we've already created 2 additional lists, right? And here's the cool thing. So scrolling back to the left, and see, I don't like all this back and forth. That's why I don't like having too many lists. So the list that are currently set up now says to do before the trip and done, right? So you can easily move these things around to do in Hawaii, to eat and drink, reservations. So you might say, you know what? Reservations probably needs to come before to do. So all you do is just simply drag it over and it automatically moves itself. You can move it there. And again, this could be for workflow, because again, if you have 7, 8, or 9 lists and they're over to the right and you realize, okay, for this part of the trip, so say you're on the trip now, right, but you're still referencing the board, you might not need this over to the left anymore. You might want it all the way to the right, because, hey, I'm done with that now. So right now, let's just focus on, the things to do and the places to eat and drink. The done things are already done, so we can move that out of the way. So right now, you click on the board, or even when you access it from the app on your phone, you see the lists that are important to you right now, right? But let's just take everything back to how it was. So again, you can see how quickly you can customize this based on what you need or what you're doing. So one of the things I love about it. So as time changes, circumstances change, your list can change, and what you need to focus on immediately changes. So you can easily, like I say, just drag and drop the list and everything is cool. Here's something else. You can also sort the list by the date that you created it. So you sort it by the newest thing first, or you can sort your list by the oldest first. So if you notice, the book flights shifted to the top. Or you can even do it by name alphabetically. So sometimes it's easier to quickly look at things by name. So let's just say, you had hotels or places to eat and drink, and you had hotels by name, and you knew that you couldn't remember the restaurant's name started with P. Then you would have a list of a list of your restaurants, and if you sorted it alphabetically, then it'll be easier and quicker to find. All right. The other thing is you can copy these lists as well. So you can simply go here, copy the list, give it a name, copy of done, and we have a new list. Scroll back over here. You see it's right here. Everything is still here. All right, so I don't want this anymore, so I'm just going to archive that, which is it's equivalent to deleting. So now we've already discussed, the list, how you can create your own, how you can move those lists around, how you can sort them and even copy them. Now let's talk into what makes the list powerful. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are these individual cards, because the cards hold the information. The list hold the cards hold the information. So if you want to create a card, you can easily click on create a new card. So let's see, to do in Hawaii. Let's just say, you know, I want a card that says pastry, right? So now I have a new card right here. And you click on the little pencil and you can edit the label, change members, move, copy, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But what I want to show you is really quick. So I created this card that says pastry. You click on it and you have all these different fields. So you can add a description here saying, you know, what does this mean? What does this card mean for somebody who's taking a look at it, or even for yourself? Because sometimes you forget what these cards are and what they're for, why you created it. But I want to show you a really quick and probably the best feature, in my opinion, of Trello and why I love it so much. So say you're searching the web, you're like, hey man, you know, what are some cool things to do in Hawaii? And you go and you do a search and you look on here, you find some really cool things to do. If you're in Chrome or even in Safari or Firefox, if you go to whatever their extension platform is, Trello has an extension that you can add to your browser. Right now, I'm currently using Chrome, so I already have the Trello extension installed. So what it'll do, so let's say I found this Oahu submarine scooter adventure. And I'm like, you know what? This might be really cool. Not to say that I'm going to do it, but it might just be something to consider later. And this works on your phone as well once you have the app installed. I just simply click here, and you see the Hawaii board is open. To do before trip. Now remember, if you watch the other videos, we have several different boards. So I have the master travel board, plan a vacation board, and Hawaii. So right now I'm working in the plan a vacation. So, and these are my lists. So these are the boards. So I have a Hawaii board, a master travel board, plan a vacation board. These are the lists. So to do, done. So to do in Hawaii, this is the list where I want it to live, right, on my Trello board. So I simply click on that. I can manually give the card a title and a description, or I can simply click that and it automatically populates Oahu submarine scooter adventure. But let's say you want to make sure you want to put a keyword in there or something for if you want to search your board. You can say maybe adventure. Well, adventure's already in there, but you get the point. You can put whatever keyword you want to do in here. You can say family. So this way, you know, if you go back and search your board, anything with family will pop up. So right now it's creating the card. So if we go back to our Trello board and we look over here, this populated from the internet. So it pulled this information in. It pulled a picture in from the site. You see the JPEG there. This is the actual link. So if I'm going to come back to it later and say, oh, this is what I was telling you about. If you're sharing it with your family or friends, it automatically takes them to this page. And all you had to do was click this extension. So I'm going to close out of this really quick. And let's say you want to find some cool place to eat. So here's a bakery in Hawaii. So let's say, okay, I want to save this for later. So I click on this, plan a vacation, right? That's the board that I'm working on now. To do in Hawaii. Well, this will go under to eat and drink. And again, I can add a title or description myself, or I can simply click this attach. Right there, it'll automatically populate the name from the website information. Click add. It's creating the board and card. I come back to my board and bam, there it is right there. This, ladies and gentlemen, is like the gold mine of using Trello for vacations. This is like the money pit right here. Like this is where the pot of gold. You can, because whenever you're planning a trip, you find yourself browsing multiple sites, and sometimes you find things that are cool and you can't remember what site you were looking on, or if you're on your phone, because again, you can use this on your phone as well. If you're searching for things on your phone, sometimes, you know, you might have to get off the phone, a call comes in or whatever, and you forget what you were browsing. Well, on here, you simply just save it for later. I mean, I've been on trips sometimes where I have like 10 or 15 places that I'm considering. I don't go to all of them, but I put them in here, and then when I'm on a trip, you know, it's something I come back and I check out and I just click on it. Oh, and see, it brings in the description automatically from the website if their webmaster had a pretty good back end where they have all of this stuff already typed. And again, you simply click on the link. It's going to take me right back to the page. All right. So this is how you can use lists to like really and the web extensions to really make your Trello board come to life. Now, I want to show you how you can add labels. So let's say your mom or sister are the people who are in charge of coming up with the places to eat. Now, the thing about labels is you can give your labels a name and an appropriate color. So let's say if it's something that you're wanting to consider, say your sister's favorite color is purple. You can name it, let's see, what would your sister's name be? Click on the pencil right there. I put sister approval, right? Because she's the one, the sweet tooth and the connoisseur. Let's just say that your mom needs to see this as well, right? So once you do that, now these two labels are here. So I'm going to back out of here really quick just so you can see what this looks like on the board. So if your mom and sister are looking at this board right here, they automatically, your sister will look for anything purple because she knows that's for her. That's for her approval, or that's for her to see. That's something that's related to her. Same thing for your mom. If your mom sees this goldish color right here, she knows that whatever's on there is specific to her. Now, it doesn't mean that they won't look at all these other things, but you use labels to help call things out really quick, right? Now, when you click on it, you see mom and sister. You can always go back and change these labels. They don't have to stay the same. Some can just simply be a color with no name. I prefer to have the ones, with some sort of title on it. For green, you can say that could be like a definite. Can't type today. I don't even know, did I spell that right? No. Definite. Save that. So this also helps too. So now, let's just say we had 3 or 4 different restaurants or places to eat on here. Anything with a green, we already know that's something we've already agreed upon. Like, yo, this is what we're going to do. So that's the beauty of using the labels. And the other thing is, you can add members on here. I talked about this in the first video. Once your family or friends or co-workers, whoever it is that you're sharing your board with, once you invite them and add them as a member, just like in social media, simply come down here and click add whatever their Trello name is. They'll see the comment, and you can even add them to the board. So this way, or to the card, I'm sorry. This way, like say your mom and sister will be specifically added to this, but if they're not in charge of the excursions, they'll still be aware of what's happening over here, but they won't get an update every time something happens. When you add a member to a card, anytime somebody makes a comment, they can receive a notification via email or via text or SMS message, depending on how they have the settings set up on their phone. So that allows them to not be bothered by, say, your dad and your brother are in charge of doing the excursions, right? Your mom and sister are only concerned about what's happening over here. Your dad and brother are only concerned about what's happening over here. So that's the benefit of members and how you can utilize that function to stop all the back and forth unnecessarily, right? So let's talk about how to add images to the card. Now, when we pull these in, these came from the web using the browser extension up here. But you can also add images on your own. So like there's an image here, cheap flights on demand. So let's say for this cheap rooms on demand, I want to add an image. Now, I had one pulled up earlier, and let's see, where is it? Attachment. So attach from computer. You can attach another card from Trello. If you have your Trello synced to your Google Drive, you can use that, or Dropbox, OneDrive, etc. This is pretty self-explanatory. So let's just say you wanted to add something from the computer. Come over here to graphics, and let's just say I want to add this, right? So I'm adding a graphic to my card, which is on my list. And so once you do that, then you get this graphic up here. I'm going to close out of this so you can see over here. It makes it easy to see. Now, I'm going to give you a warning. You don't want to add a picture for everything, because what that would do is cause you to do a whole lot of scrolling. So like right here, we have 3 cars on one list. This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now. If you have an image for every card, you'll be scrolling forever. And trust me, once you start having 12, 15, and 20 different items, and especially on your to-do or possibility list, it's easy to have 20 or more things, because especially if you have multiple people. You have multiple restaurants, multiple excursions. So you may or may not want a picture with each one. And here's the other thing, like these right here that you pulled in from the web, you don't have to utilize as pictures. So let's say you want to save space. See right here where it says, oh no, right here on the image where it says remove cover. If I simply click that, it takes the picture away. So now it's simply the text. So this saves space. So if I want to go back and say, you know what, actually we do need that, all I do is click make cover, and now it's back. So let's use this one as an example where your mom and sister already approved of this. So you might want to free up the space on your list and just say remove cover because it's already approved. And if somebody's curious about, you know, what's Lilia's Bakery, it's simply because they see the green label right here. All they have to do is click on it. So you can add or remove pictures as needed. They really do help sometimes when you want things to jump out that you need to be quickly reminded of. So that's what I try to do. I leave pictures for things that will really be called out to my attention really quickly. Now, we talked about adding attachments with the pictures. You can do the same thing with anything else. So if you want to attach your attach your reservations, attach your photos of your documents, anything like that, same thing. Just click attach like you would attach to an email or anything like that, and it'll automatically add that to your card. Now, one thing I really like as well, and there's one right here for booking flights. So you can create a checklist. All you do is click this little tab right here, and I've already done that. And what's cool about it is, as you click it off, it moves forward because there are only 3 items on here. You're 33% done. Sign up for airfare deals, book flights. And so now you know that your checklist is completed. So right here, when you look at the icon, it shows that your checklist, all 3 of those 3 items are done. So, and I love this, love. Because again, especially if you have multiple people working on an assignment for your trip. So say it involves making reservations and transfers to the airport or what have you. You can go ahead and see what's done. So you can say, let's add an item. Transfer to hotel. And you might need to transfer to the airport when you leave, right? Because sometimes those are different companies, different setups. And you can easily drag and drop them as well. Transfer to the airport, transfer to the hotel. So now you see, okay, well, we picked a date to go. We signed up for the airfare deals. We booked the flight. We booked our transfer to the hotel, but we haven't booked our transfer to the airport. All right. So right now you see 4 out of the 5 items are completed. And you can add a label to this as well if you want. If you have a checklist, you might have a label that says, you know, still, or put needs attention. Right? So now we have a needs attention label. So I see that. Again, you want to use Trello however it works best for you, because some people are really drawn to images. Some people are very text driven. So with this, I know anything with the blue needs somebody's attention, right? Then I'm looking at the checklist. So I'm like, well, wait a minute, something's not done. And I click on here and say, oh, well, we still need to confirm our transfer to the airport. So this is how you can utilize the labels and the colors and even the text in your labels and your members to really help keep down confusion on your travels. Because say there are only 1 or 2 people who are responsible for booking, you know, the flights and the transportation, they can see what else needs to be done. You can quickly send a message like, hey, at mom or at whatever their screen name is, when are we going to book the transfer to the airport? And that'll be quickly and easily taken care of. One other thing that's really cool is sometimes you have deadlines. Certain things need to be done by a certain time, right? So this one right here is past due because it's July right now. It has a due date of June 21st. So that time is already passed. And you can set a reminder. So depending on what it is that you need to get done, you might need to be reminded 5 minutes before, 1 day before, 2 days before. And the cool thing is once you click on it, it now turns green. So you know, okay, well, that's completed, right? This says needs attention. It has the blue indicator right here for the label. So I can take that off. All I have to do is come here, uncheck that. So now I know that, and actually this can go right here to the done. And you can use the list however you want. Some people, again, you can sort it how you want, but you can also add it, manually move it over how you want. So you might put the newest to the bottom, like, okay, well, that's done. I'm going to put it back over here for now. I'm going to uncheck this for future purposes, and I'm going to get that back to how it was. We already talked about in the previous video how you can add members. Now, if you want to share your card, just a second here, you simply come here, click on share, and you can share this link. Now, here's the thing. If this link is private, it will only be visible to people who you have already invited to your board. Otherwise, they won't be able to access it. If you want to make this public, which you want to be careful with that, because that means everybody on the internet who searches or goes to Trello, they can find your board and access it. I strongly suggest that you don't make it public. I'm going to make mine public, the master, because it doesn't have any like personal information. It's for you guys to copy. There'll be a link in the description below. And from there, you can, make a copy of that, make that your master, and then go ahead and modify it as needed. Now, if you have a website that you want to put this on, there's a embed code right here, so you can send this to your webmaster. Or if if you do your own website, you can embed it yourself. You can also email this to whoever you want to share it with. So there's some pretty cool things about this. Now, this simply shares the card, right? This is not sharing the board. There is an option to share the board. I believe it's over here. Let's see, right here, print and export. That's the same thing as sharing. So you can share the board from over here, share the card from the card itself. All right. Hope this helped you, and I hope that you take advantage of the free template that I'm including in the description below. So this way, again, it'll help you get jump started on your vacation. Trello will save you a bunch of time whenever managing or planning your trips. I use Trello even when I'm just thinking about a place where I might not have even put any money down, but it's just a suggestion. Or I might have seen something on TV like, oh, wow, let me look up the Maldives, or let me look up Bali. And then I'll just start adding stuff. Because typically what I do, if I get an idea or an interest in a place, I'll start searching for things to do, places to go, excursions, getting an idea, how much these things cost. And then I'll just start adding them to my Trello board via the extension right here. And then I'll come back and look and say, because it'll be under like my things to do, or I might have possibilities. I even have a list of possible destinations. So have fun with this, and let me know, if you come up with any different ways of utilizing your Trello board. Shoot me a message, leave a comment below, and let me know how you manipulated your board and customize it to your liking. If you found this video beneficial and helpful, which I hope you did, give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and click the subscribe button so you can get notified of the next videos. And I will holler at you guys and see you in the next video. Check the description below for the links to this board, and also to set up a Trello account. Until the next time, deuces.